Professor Bimol. This is a BJP MLA. He's in a situation where his family is saying, Biren Singh called once, and after that we haven't heard from anybody. We are struggling. We're managing our people. Our friends and family are helping us. He's very seriously disabled now, and so therefore they need a lot of money. And he's, in the whole interview, if you hear the whole interview, I asked the son. I said, "What are you looking for from the state government?" And he said, "Well, financial assistance is only one part of it. So if somebody were to just call and see how we're doing, no one even calls us. It's like we feel alone. We're just like." I guess he says lay person. He means we're just so ordinary, we've been forgotten. Your thoughts when you look at this? I mean, this is a BJP MLA.
No, I think it is whether it is a BJP MLA or whichever party is a senior politicians of the state. I don't know why. I mean, I'm shocked to know that nobody called up. I mean, what kind of political culture is this? I mean, forget about one. I mean, there are 60 of them in that house. And you want a united Manipur, and you can't even have that courtesy of making a call to your own fellow MLAs, who is also a senior one, and left alone. And this is how the community things gets consolidated. He has all the right to feel hurt and angry. I mean, I don't see that anger in his tone. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, if I were in his place, despite all my things, I would have been hurt, deeply hurt, and felt, his community is helping. I mean, I don't know, Barkha, what to say this. You see these women being paraded, raped, people being shot and burned, an old woman being burned inside the house. From that extended to these high politics, nobody call up, an MLA is lying like, what are we at the end of the day? I don't want to see, I'm ashamed of. I mean.
Yes, it is horrible. It is really, truly horrible.
It is absolutely unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable. I mean, I just come to know through your program that this is the condition of a senior MLA like that, and you don't even forget your being a political class. If you must be talking and having dinners and visiting each other as MLAs and ministers and so on. When one of you lie up like that, and see violence against. By the way, legislatures have happened before in Manipur. In 2001, 3 of them or 2 of them were thrown into the burning assemblies, People's Wrath. But this is targeting a particular MLA because of this communal frenzy that has caught up in that state. I don't know. This is the pain. This is the pain that anybody who has observed sin, and that is why I also get very offended and angry when people pursue over this kind of miseries and pain and deploy these human tragedies for a political purpose, whoever is playing it. And that is why I have huge reservation against people playing politics and violence being deployed as a means to some end. Yeah. I think that is something to be called out, and then stop these things, rein in this violence. I'm also much repeat the same thing which I've said before. There must be a genuine inquiry to fix responsibility and map out the sequence of this violence. And you cannot allow things to go scot-free. Yes. And you should not only think about the retributive justice, but you also think about the restorative justice. And that is where we will talk about, you have just mentioned reconciliation sort of a committee. Not everything may not be able to resolve at the level of the law, but the culprit must be held accountable. And also this sequence of this violence must be tracked down and mapped out, how it began, who incited. Everything should be done. Otherwise, the future of that state, even if you have whichever initiative mechanism, you will have unhealed, unresolved anger. And that will continue to inform an estranged relationship which can spark any moment as terrible violence in the future.
Yes. Rami, I'm sure you have thoughts to add, but let me just play out another clip. We're seeing these horrible, literally orphaned, abandoned senior politician's family. And I think Professor Bimol is absolutely correct that even if he was from another party, the point is he's a member of the political fraternity. And to see his family struggling, no one calling except for the initial one phone call from the chief minister and saying, we feel alone. And I think Professor Bimol is absolutely correct. There was no anger in his voice. He was just helpless. I want to play out another heartbreaking account from the field of a grandson of an 80-year-old, an 80-year-old woman. And in a home where her husband's awards, medals, the honors from President Kalam, the whole house is torched. She is killed. This is her grandson's account. And then I'll come to you, Rami.
2 a.m. to 3 a.m. के बीच में जो बहुत सारा फायरिंग हो रहा था, ये पूरा सराउंडिंग में हो रहा था, हम सेरो का सराउंडिंग में। देन इसमें सब लोग सेफ्टी की जगह में जा रहा था। देन बाद में हमें पता चला था हम लोग का ग्रांड माँ घर का अंदर है। देन इसके लिए हम वापस बसाने के लिए हम दोनों गए थे। दोनों जाने के टाइम पे वहाँ घर तो जला दिया था। देन पूरा घर से जलाकर जब हम लोग पहुँचा गिर गया था घर पे। देन आफ्टर दैट दे आर फायरिंग टू मच। देन मैं यहाँ पे लगी थी, तो यहाँ पे गोली लगी थी एंड एक ये पैर में भी लगा था। देन ये पे कल वापस हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट भी करने का है। The government should give the proper punishment to the people who had done this incident for firing and जिंदा जला दिया था हमका ग्रांड माँ पे, और इसका सब इंसाफ भी चाहिए और वो लोग भी पनिशमेंट मिलना चाहिए।
Let me bring you in, Rami. We're seeing whether it's Vungzag in Walte, whether we see what happens with the freedom fighter's wife. Grief, as Professor Bimol says, should never become a competitive conversation. Unfortunately, in Manipur, that is exactly what it has become. It has become, my grief is bigger than yours, my rape is worse than yours, my house being torched is worse than yours. And there is a structural collapse. Where do we, and there is also, by the way, these images that you're seeing, a great debate around the role of women. There's a great debate around the role of the Mirapaibis. The army has at one point said that, we need more women on the ground because women are obstructing security operations. This is a matter also of much debate. Let me bring you in, Rami. Go ahead.
Barkha, absolutely. It's inconceivable that, the situation would be like this and, it would have gone on for so long. But however, this is what it is. And, eventually what happens with violence, especially in sensitive areas like this, where there isn't just two communities, there are other communities as well. So we're looking at it from the point of Kuki and Meitei, but there are also the Nagas, there are also the other communities, where I truly, as an observer, my fear is of the ripple effect of it on the other communities, the ripple effect of it on the bordering states. So this has the potential of becoming bigger than it should have. It already is. But, the potential is that it might become bigger if it doesn't stop at this point. And I have always said this, and I've said this from the beginning, that, of course, the state, has to be held responsible. And, like Professor Bimol said, there has to be some amount of assessment and accountability. The communities also play a huge role. Apart from the defense forces, we have a huge amount of forces that have been deployed on ground. And, irrespective of the aspersions that have been casted on the Assam Rifles, the fact of the matter is almost 40,000 people have been given shelter by them by from both the sides. And also, 20 to 30,000 people have been given safe passageway, almost equal amount in, both sides of the community. So that aside, I think the civil society, Barkha, has a very big role to play because remember, Manipur has a huge amount of CSOs. They have CSOs on each side. They have, CSOs for everything. Yet a CSO has not come up from, which represents both the communities, leadership from both the communities, people of influence of both the communities. Because you see states like this, communities like this, which have a tribal makeup, the leaders, the elders, the influences of the communities are very important.
They who is facilitating this dialogue? Where is this dialogue? You're talking about 4,000 weapons, armories that have been looted, 4,000 weapons, including high caliber weapons, right, Rami? Who is going to facilitate this dialogue? You now need people. I'm so sorry to say this. You both are the experts, but it seems to me commonsensically that with the compact broken, You need people to come in from the outside.